party with him. They weren't in the ring with him last night.
Oh, man. 3 months, then he want to come out with all this. He didn't train, and 3 months of partying. Man, I'm like, bro, man, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. We don't want to hear this, man. You got the opportunity of your life. For your life. Man, do you know how many guys want that opportunity, bro? Just as a champion now, you talking about it being a blessing of every time, he in a sentence is a blessing, which it is a blessing, but bro, do you know your blessing could have expanded? Your blessing could have expanded to not only support your family now, but support your family forever.
That's true.
Don't get content with just that little bit. That little whatever he got. The first, it's anything that with an M on it is a lot of money, of course. But when you add up everything and stuff, that you have to add up, you got to understand it. So, Uncle Sam gonna get his shit regardless. And then all the debt that you had before you got it, either you're gonna do two things. You're gonna wash it away, or you're gonna create more on top of that. And we know that the one thing about money, it's the root of all evil, and it like Biggie said, more money, more problems. It's true. Either he gonna eliminate the problems that he had before he got the money, or he gonna add on top of the problems. Meaning that now you're gonna buy more expensive things. More expensive things mean more maintenance. More maintenance. Now you got insurance and all that. And every time you buy something, it comes with a price behind it. You know what I'm saying? And everything accumulates up and it adds up. The more cars you have, more insurance. Man, I can have so many goddamn cars. My insurance, no, bro. I'm like, shit.
You're right.
But, no complaining, because I wouldn't still buy cars. I wouldn't still, just like with property. You got to have so many insurance and all this. Like, if people seeing some of my bills, like, you like, God damn, that's my whole fucking life right now. But I know how to maintain it. I know how to invest. I know how to put it in the right place. I've learned from others. I've learned from many others that came before me that have had the money and it just go away, because money comes and money goes. As hard as it comes, sad to say, fast as it goes.
But Deontay,
it fucking goes.
So, okay, those were the words of, once again, Deontay Wilder, as he is still upset with Andy Ruiz, and what he said in this article, there was some truth to it, but, at this point, he was just reiterating what he said before, with more passion, more emotion behind it. And, he heard Andy Ruiz say it's a blessing, behind every sentence, right? And he's like, yeah, it's a blessing, but then you don't know that you don't know how much your blessing could have expanded. How many people would want that opportunity? Now, those are the words from Deontay Wilder. And my thing is, he's roasting Andy Ruiz. And the irony of this whole thing is, you're roasting the man that stepped up in your place when you didn't want to step up. That was the man that did something that you didn't want to do. The position that he was in, you could have been a year ago. Okay? He could have been fought Anthony Joshua, fought for undisputed, landed one of them right hands, and good night. I have all the belts. He could have done that a long time ago for more money. But then yet he roasts Andy Ruiz in the second fight for not coming prepared. Now, yes, there's no excuse for that. The no excuse is the excuse. Because sources tell me that Andy Ruiz was ready. He was sharp. His reflexes was there despite his weight. So I think that's just an excuse. We already counterpunched that. But, why is he so candid on being upset with Andy Ruiz now? Let's ask yourself this question. Would Deontay Wilder be this upset with Andy Ruiz if he would have lost the first time by Anthony Joshua? That's the question you ask yourself. Another question you ask yourself, were they good buddies before he beat and upset Joshua on June 1st. See what I mean? These are questions you have to ask yourself, because it seems like, oh, well, you know, when he won, everybody was your friend. Now you lose, everybody's against you, including Deontay Wilder. You know, that's the guy that you were going to fight. But what I think happened, what spoiled the whole plan of that is he wanted to put Andy Ruiz on a pedestal. He wanted to have this fight, this staged fight with Andy Ruiz. And Andy Ruiz is supposed to do this job so these guys can go for undisputed, since they were in the same promotional company. But little does Deontay Wilder know that they weren't planning to fight Deontay right away anyway. Not to say it wouldn't have happened next year, but the thing is, his dad said that he wanted a couple fights first. Okay, so I don't see why Deontay Wilder is that mad, you know. And this is something I have to add. This is what happens when you live in other people's footsteps. See, Deontay Wilder was vicariously living through Andy Ruiz. By Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua, he took credit for it. Some fucking way he did. He did, though, right? You know, that's why he was so happy. That's why he was his newfound friend all of a sudden. Shit, it was like Rush Hour. You know, let's take Jackie Chan out and pull up Carlos Mencia in there, right? That's what that was. This was a case of, oh, man, we did it. You know what I mean? Now we're going to go head to head, but it didn't happen that way. And now Deontay's upset because he knows that he could have called the shots, or so he thought, because we don't know. Because we don't know what would have happened to Andy Ruiz if he would have shut out Anthony Joshua for the second time. Then defending his title, then he would be a legitimate unified champion of the world with 4 belts. People don't add the IBO, but it sounds good just, you know, behind the other belts, doesn't it? So let's be real. So he would have had 4 belts on top of Deontay Wilder's WBC. How far could you think Deontay Wilder could go with his poor ticket sales after, if he would have beat Anthony Joshua, still would have made 1.6 million pay-per-view buys, which that particular pay-per-view did on Sky Sports in the UK. So then you'll start asking yourself, well, you know, Deontay, I'm a bigger star than you because I broke records. You didn't break any records, maybe record low, but I'm the record breaker. I'm the giant slayer. You know what I'm saying? So then it would be one of those situations where how much clout that Deontay Wilder think he could get. But you know what? That would be a problem for another day, because that wouldn't matter. Why? Because the elephant in the room has been slayed, and that's Anthony Joshua. He didn't have to worry about the clout and all the popularity and all the power and the money and all the influence that Anthony Joshua had anyway, because he would have been out of the picture for now. He wouldn't have had no belts. He wouldn't have had no more rematch clauses. There is no rubber match clause, so he wouldn't have had that. He would have been dealing with Andy Ruiz, and then he feels that, hey, my father, my stepfather, or whatever he wants to call him, Al Heyman, my savior, would help me through these negotiations. Get this fight done. We'll fight for undisputed. I will land that right hand, and I will hurt Andy Ruiz and knock him out, right? Joshua softened him up in the 3rd round. I'm going to knock him out in the 2nd, you know, and you know, later on. So, you know, that's what it looked like it was going to be. But since that didn't happen, now he's bashing Andy Ruiz because his plans are spoiled, okay? His plans are ruined. Why? Because what he thought, he was going to bank on a particular situation happening due to someone else's success, and he shouldn't have done that. He should worry about his own success. So if you want to get something done, do it yourself. You know what I mean? That's what Deontay Wilder should have been banking on, not banking on Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua again. But of course, this is the vent. Okay, this is the rant. This is him releasing his anger towards his whole plans falling from grace. That is all this really is. You know, so he keep talking about Andy Ruiz, you know, basically what he's doing. I don't know if he's really doing this deliberately, but what he's really doing, the more shit he talks about Andy Ruiz, the more he can talk up a future fight with Andy Ruiz. You see what I'm saying? So the more he keeps talking, just like in this interview with Ellie Setback, you know, and other countless interviews that he keeps talking about his upset and he's displeased and, you know, he, you know, get the fuck out of here and what was he thinking and this, that, and the other. what he's doing is setting up a fight between him and Andy Ruiz. Now, on Ruiz's side, we know the WBC, Mauricio Sulaiman, with that particular belt, put Andy Ruiz at number 8 or number 7. One of those. I think he was at number 7. And so that's kind of high on the totem pole. That's in the top 10. Nonetheless, if he was 7 or 8, I could be wrong, but he is at least 7 or 8. So that means Sulaiman green lighted that fight. So Deontay's talking his discomfort, and he's talking all this negativity about Andy Ruiz. Meanwhile, things are going and coming to play that can possibly make this fight happen. I'm all for the fight. Why? Because Al Heyman doesn't give a shit because he has 2 fighters that can fight each other. He doesn't care about the money besides the money that he can generate. And he's passed that down to his fighters, including Deontay, Deontay's management, and Deontay himself. Deontay bought the bullshit too. Andy Ruiz didn't buy the bullshit. Deontay did. And let me explain to you that way. The money that they can create itself, not the money that's been offered from any other superpower. The superpower of Team Joshua. They didn't want that money if it didn't come from them. See, that's the whole problem. See, Deontay would rather take less money knowing that, hey, I'm living in my own little world and I create this because this comes from Al Heyman, my side of the street, my world over here, my island, my whatever. He doesn't matter if it's less money. It's a pride thing with him, right? So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Deontay Wilder once again bashing Andy Ruiz about his upset and fight status with Anthony Joshua and his preparation. Tell me what you think, guys. Please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunch. Peace.